Hello and welcome back to the channel where we are building a video game from scratch using Love2d and Lua. We're working on right outside the first dungeon. You pop out over here. It's like right on the cusp of the sand biome. And then you come over here and this is where you unlock the shortcut back to the main village. So if you move these boulders out of the pathway here, you can then unlock the shortcut, and only the key item boulders stay put. So you know, once you push them in the right spot, you kind of unlock the shortcut and it persists. The only difference is like if you push, this boulder in a random spot, and then this one out of the way. And even if you push this one out of the way in a random spot, it won't trigger. Actually, okay, so that one remembers as long as it's column 2, but this one got reset. So basically, this boulder has to be either directly below or above its starting position to reset. Otherwise, it just. Actually, let's see. You know what? That one's just a key item too. So I'm curious if, because we had some problems where if we would leave, let's leave this third boulder in the way of, if we leave this third boulder in the way of the path here, it should get reset, and it does. Okay, so what if we push it down and then back up and in the way? Does it reset? It does reset. Okay, so we at least got it to where you can't block the pathway so that there's no clipping. And that's why we had to put the pits up here, is because if we didn't have it, you can either walk into the wall when you transition or clip through a boulder when you transition, which I guess even right here you can technically clip through it, which should probably be not possible, but I don't know how we would do that. We'd have to shift the pits, everything here, like left one, which feels really forced, because even the fence posts here feel a little forced, because all they're really doing is blocking someone from scene transitioning into that scene. So they're kind of just like there just to stop the player. So, they're placeholder because we're going to put some trees there or other design things. So I'm not too worried about it, but we will need to block that way because we get stuck and then we clip up into there. But we're not really worried about that stuff just yet. We're working on putting tome number 1 into a treasure chest on this scene here. And then once tome 1 is unlocked, it needs to be equipable here in the inventory system, just like the spellcast and tunic are equipable here. So should the tome. So we can have tome 1, 2, 3 or whatever kind of equipped somewhere. I don't know where it makes sense, but we basically, if you have no tome equipped and you pull out your loot, then there needs to be no music scrolling, and it's just going to be like a free-for-all, a free mode of play. But if you have the tome equipped, it's going to be whatever the sheet music for tome 1 is, which we still haven't transcribed yet, but we've got the melody made. I just have to transcribe it. So today we're going to be adding the tome, hopefully getting it selectable somewhat in the inventory system, and then possibly resetting the song to be either free play or tome, depending on if it's equipped or not. Then if we get that, there's little things like we have to make sure once the treasure chest is opened, it stays open, and when you save the game, if it's open, it saves that status so that the next time you load the game, it's already open and you've already got Tome 1 unlocked. So like little stuff like that to kind of persist the data through saves we'll have to worry about. But the tome being in the game, I think, is the last feature before we're done with the demo, because the rest of the road to the demo is just some new sprites and overworld design, because as of yesterday we got our kind of extended biome locks at least kind of temporarily in place, right? So like it gets super sandy here, so we'll just build out like a little scene that is super sandy, and it makes it look like you can't pass it. If it's super sandy, it'll say like, hey, the extreme winds will prevent you from exploring, something like that, as a signifier to the people playing the demo that it's not unlocked yet. You know, it's in progress. But I think the level is gonna go, you know, I'm trying to decide if I want the game to be free exploration, where you can kind of do anything in any order, but the game kind of doesn't lend itself to that, in the sense that certain elements are locked by certain locations, and then certain biomes are locked by certain tome songs, so it kind of has to be linear. Yeah, I think it does have to be linear, now that I think about it. Because otherwise the tome unlocking wouldn't do anything different, right? So it has to kind of unlock. So we can decide, you know, maybe there's like a rock, paper, scissors development that we have for the biomes as well as the spells you get. So since you get the Flamma spell right off the bat from Mage at the very beginning, the flame is supposed to fend off. I'm trying to remember, because we have, let's write this down, because we've got where is it? We've got shoot, I don't want to write on this piece of paper. I guess it doesn't really matter, but we've got geckos, which are generally our first enemy, but we also have boars in the forest. We have bats both in the dungeon as well as in the volcano biome. Then we have either scorpions or cobras. I'm kind of thinking cobras in the desert, because I was wanting like a scorpion to kind of shoot poison at the player, but now I'm kind of thinking a scorpion because there are actually spitting cobras, not scorpions. So I think I want a spitting cobra, because I saw that David Blaine special where he F's with poisonous spitting cobras, and I was like, oh, those are nuts. So cobras in the desert, boars in the forest, bats in the volcano, and then there's gonna be like these ravens up in the ice mountain. So the idea was that the light spell would fend off the ravens the best, because it can shoot far and in a straight line, and it can pierce trees and stuff. Echo, the green spell, can fight off cobras because it's a reflector spell, so it'll send back the venom. And then water for the boars, which makes them slip and fall on their side, so that you can cleanse them once they're on their side. So I guess that means that when we get Flamma, the first thing, yeah, I mean, I guess, because we would need to have the water spell before we fight the boars, and the boars are in the forest. So I think actually the desert is going to be the first biome we unlock, because we don't have the water spell to fight the boars in the forest. But I guess if we're in the desert, you know, we need the reflector spell because the cobras. So maybe the move is we'll plan for cobras being in the desert and that being the first thing, because, well, let me think it through, because if we look at the overworld map here, the forest is kind of like the entryway to all the other biomes, you know? So like the forest kind of spreads out around the beginning area. So I do think forest needs to be the second unlock. So I guess what that means is that forest can be littered with spell mineral deposits to get you the sapphire spell, which is the water, to fight the boars. So maybe we have like, you know, maybe the main... Yo, Magnetonics, yo, thanks for the raid, dude. Welcome in. I'd give you a shout out, but I'm the only one here. But thank you. Thank you for the raid, dude. Hope you had a good stream. What were you up to today? Yeah, I think the forest biome needs to be unlocked first. That'll be at the end of the demo, and then we can... Yo, always appreciate it, dude. Always appreciate it. Forget how to do a shout out. Tile sets in Overworld. Nice. That's basically what we're doing next. We've got that, I think, tomorrow. As long as what we can finish today is the tome treasure chest. Dude, the world building is something I underestimated. I was like, I'm gonna save that for last because that's like the easiest part. And then like when I get to it, I'm like, oh crap, this is very tough. Because we only have like, you know, it's been a year of development and we only have like 5 scenes that are like halfway developed. You know, we've got one puzzle as of yesterday. And then we've got one dungeon as of last month. But other than that, we just have like placeholder stuff. So it's like, it's really just like those 7 frames we've got so far, or 7 scenes. And this is all like, all these fences are like put in there so people playing the demo or playing the web deployment don't just like get lost in an undeveloped world. So for the demo, I need to make it look a little more intentional, right? And not have it so handholdy. So this, even the stuff that is in the game right now is not even close to being done. So it's hard. So I feel ya, dude. It's tough. Definitely not easy. But yeah, we're trying to add the treasure chest that gets us the first sheet music for the loot minigame. So it should be easy. We've got a treasure chest class that can store like an object, and then you can open stuff with it, just like, you know, we've got one in Mage's Castle over here where you get your loot for the first time. So that looks like this, where right under your bed you've got we got to change the rendering on that, but we've got the loot. So it's like a little treasure chest. Oh my god, dude. I know we fixed this. I think it might be because... Oh my gosh, dude. Oh, this is so jacked up. Oh my god. Why? Okay. Well, the thing is, I think it works. Oh my god, look at this. If we trigger the opening cinematic... Oh my gosh, we need to fix that, dude. Okay, does this mean it's fixed here? Oh my god, dude, what is so wrong with it? Dude, it's still... That is so bad. Yeah, we need to... I swear to God, we fixed this, and then it did this where it just disappeared on us, and then we fix it again, and it's back there. So, like, there's probably something simple we're missing that just... For some reason, we just didn't... What the... Dude. That was the worst bug I have ever seen in this game. Oh, dude. Yeah, I got the weather system sorted, so that's good. Yeah, there's just... Oh, lordy. Dude, that was the worst bug I've ever seen in this game, so... We gotta track that down for sure. Yeah, anyway, we're just trying to put a little treasure chest here today, and that's about it. Like, little treasure chest with the tome in it, and then actually make the tome selectable here in the inventory, because right now there's no tomes selected, so we kind of like, once you get it, we need to like unlock it in your inventory system, and then make it selectable so that we can see which tome is equipped. And then make, if no tome is equipped, it's like a free play on the loot, but if the tome is equipped, then it actually pulls the sheet music for it. So we rehauled the way we did the treasure chest, I think, twice now, so I don't remember how we're supposed to do it anymore. We have a treasure chest class, and we insert a treasure chest into the map declarations, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so it looks like we give we insert into collidable map objects the treasure chest object, and we give it a third parameter of the type of treasure. So if treasure chest is the contents is here, and we change the image to be whatever the contents are equal to be. And then also we need to do something like right here where we, you know, depending on what the contents are, we pull it out a little differently. So let's try to do this, and we have this where this can be the Tome 1 treasure chest. But we need to put it in the right scene, which is going to be 7.5. Okay, and then this is like a row and column, so we'll put it maybe 6.4 and see what that is like. For now, we'll just put a loot as the contents, but we'll just test it. So there is a loot in there, and it's got a string, so, or it's got a dialog box. So, you know, that's most of the work right there, but we need to say, you know, this is like the... you found an ancient tome, and say this is engraved with ancient music from the times of old. It is inscribed with a message. So the idea is the message is like a little clue. It's a little riddle to solve where to play the sheet music at. So you found an ancient tome. This is engraved with ancient music from the times of old. It is inscribed with a message, sort of deal. But we need to give it the proper image. So here we're going to say that we're going to set the treasure image based on whether or not the contents are a tome. And we're going to put tome PNG as the contents self-treasure image. And we need to make a tome image. Yo, that's fine. Yo, thanks for the raid, Magnetonics. I appreciate it. Have a good sleep, man. Thanks for stopping by. Always appreciate it. So we made, if we look at our master sheet, we have a little tome right here. So we could keep this as the generic tome unlock. I was thinking that we kind of, since there's 4 different tomes, I was thinking to maybe do like a unique shape on each one, because instead of it just being 4 of the same looking 8th note or 16th note, whatever this is, 8th note, right? Yeah. Instead of it being that same note, I want to inscribe it with something that sets them apart from one another. So like maybe, you know, maybe tome 1 looks like this, where it's like, maybe tome 1 it looks like this, or I don't want it to be like a number 1, but maybe 1 is like that, and 2 is like this, and 3 is like this, and 4 is like, I don't know, plus. Just to give it like a unique shape, right? So I guess for right now we will do this as a individual tome, a 12 by 16, and for now I'm gonna do the little horizontal like ichi sign right there. So it's like, if that's tome 1, it's got a little vertical line. So if that is what we can export as a PNG, and we can say, we got to save it in the right spot here. Tashio graphics. This is going to be tome 1 PNG. So if we save it here, I hope that exported. Let's see, graphics tome 1 PNG is the contents treasure image. So when we go to render it, we render the treasure image depending on what we assign it to. So let's just try that. So when we go ahead and insert it, we need to give it not the loot contents, but the tome. Should be tome 1 because we have other tomes. So let's try that, where we say tome 1 as a contents, sets our treasure image to be our tome 1 PNG we just exported, and let's see if tome 1 is sitting. Dude, I swear to God, every time I export this, it doesn't save. See, look, tome 1 isn't in there. I don't get it. Every time, though. I know we exported it. There we go. Okay, and boom. We got a tome. It's way off. This is okay. This is fine. We got an ancient tome. We need to put right here, you know, we say, well, if the treasure contents are equal to tome 1, then we're going to set the treasure's Y position to be just above the player. So now it should be right above us. When we open it, you found an ancient tome. It's a little off. The render order is messed up, and also I didn't see collision on the treasure chest. Okay, so what? Collision on the treasure chest just doesn't exist, even though it's a collidable map object. Why did that happen? Our collidable map objects are collidable with our player. So why did that turn off? We've got... Yeah, we can just walk right through it. Collidable map objects. What did we do wrong? We should have a player to collidable map objects. Player to collidable map objects. Collidable map objects collision. How did this break? Does that mean even the treasure chest? I guess our other treasure chest was walkthroughable too for some reason. When did we change this? Player to map object collision. If we collide, then we just set our player. Oh, if it's active. If it's active. So we need to set it to be active. Does our collidable map object... Yeah, I guess it does need to be active. So let's go in our treasure chest and make sure it's active by default. Because we did just add that, so that would make sense if that was the thing that breaks it. Because we have an active for a crate and a pushable, but not for a treasure chest. So that might fix it. Thank you. Okay. Cool. So now we need the render order layer better for the render on here. We can say, well, we render the treasure image. Why does it render beneath us? We could, scoot it to the left 2 pixels and scoot it up 2 pixels. So let's scoot it left and up 2 pixels, so minus 16. And then also up 2 pixels. Let's try that. Maybe not left at all. Okay, left 1 pixel, yeah? It's like just off. Our green tunic is still rendered off on the show off animation, but that shouldn't be too bad. So we have a treasure X and a treasure Y, so like if we just set our treasure Y, when we render it, we draw it at treasure X, treasure Y. So yeah, this should work. No. Needs to be set to our player X. Let's just set it to our player X. Let's just see. Okay, so we need a what? Plus 2 pixels? That looks good. Okay, so right now, when you open the treasure chest, it gets reset. Right when you leave. We did that intentionally to test reopening it and stuff, so it should be an easy fix to get that back. Okay, so let's look for the treasure chest where we reset treasure chest to do turn off. So yeah, we don't need to reset the demo on collidable map object treasure chests when we leave the level. So if we open this up, we've got the tome, and it's engraved with music from times of old. It is inscribed. Okay, yes, it remains open, and we cannot interact with it again, so that's good. Okay. When I get the wording a bit better, so it's you can find an ancient tome. This is engraved with... What's a synonym for ancient we can do? This, you found an ancient tome. This is engraved with elegant music from times of old. And inscribed is with an E, is that right? No, it is inscribed. Okay. It is inscribed with a message. Now this is gonna say... We're gonna have a escape character here with a quote that says, this is where we do like the little riddle, right? Where we can say, for right now, we can say, is this on? Just to see if it's on the right page. So let's see. So, you found an ancient tome. This is inscribed with elegant music from times of old. It is inscribed with a message. Is this on? Yes, it is. Okay, so this is where we put the riddle. Now it says like, kind of want it like a haiku even, you know? Because the thing is, this riddle is supposed to point you to Mage's Castle, because that's where you have to play it in order to cleanse the water. So this is going to be like the first song to ever float. It soars high above. And then we can say like... You know, something like that. I mean, that's just an example. Riddle. Let's see. You found an ancient tome. This is engraved with elegant music from times of old. It is also inscribed with a message. The very first song to ever float, a sight fit for the eagles that roam. You know, ideally it rhymes or something, so we can do something like that. I think I want it to say, I want to say it is engraved with elegant music from times of old. It also bears a message. Okay, so you found an ancient tome. This is engraved with elegant music from times of old. It also bears a message. The very first song to ever float, a sight fit for the eagles that roam free. Something like that, you know? It's not like... I would like if the riddle could kind of rhyme or something. But if we don't add that space, the last dialogue gets cut off. So let's just do this and put a space. That should fix that. Because our dialogue system that prints one word at a time doesn't know what the end of a word is until it finds a space. That was how we coded it. So it doesn't know the last word until we put a space there. Nice. For the eagles that roam free. Okay, cool. So ideally once you actually click on that, the tome should appear in your inventory system right here. So let's take a look at our inventory and see how we're doing the other stuff, because it should be fairly simple. Now, inventory is the class. I think pause state is what we're actually looking for. Let's see if where we're rendering. Yeah, see how we're rendering the loot equip. So I think we need... we can add a tome slot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or something to just trigger, you know, tome 1 unlocked. It could just be a field like that. So basically, let's see. We can say... let's just see if we can render the tome in the right spot. So let's just say that we're just going to render. We're going to put in a Love.graphics draw, and we're going to draw. We don't have this as a drawable, so we can plop it in here. Do we have a drawable? I think what we do is in our dependencies we put it. What the heck? We should have a list of this stuff, so we can say that this is tome 1 and tome 1 PNG. Okay, now that's a global drawable. So now in our pause state, we can say, let us draw this global drawable of tome 1, and we'll put it at, for right now, we'll just put it at 0, 0, see if it shows up. And then we'll do conditional rendering based on if it's unlocked or not. Yes, so it's in there. So we need to place it, we need to plop it down into the right location. It's a little too big. Yeah, it's a little too big. We'll see how it looks though when it's in the right spot. We might have to change it a bit. So we know it needs to be close to the tunic, but beneath it. So the X of the tunic is probably right, but it needs the Y of like 16 pixels below it. So if we look at where the tunic is being rendered, right here, inventory player X, the heck? Let's see. Inventory player X. Okay. I feel like that's in a very specific spot. Oh, that was the tunic render on our player. Okay. Yeah, we're looking for the tunic render that's equipped. That one is equipped. Okay, so it's... Where else are we rendering the tunic? I don't see it. I think it's okay. I think it's just in our picture. If it is, that's messed up. It's wrong. If it's just in our pause mockup. Let's see. It isn't in our pause mockup, so we are rendering it somewhere. It's not in our pause state that it's being rendered. It's here in our inventory. Okay, it's in our inventory, not our pause state. So let's move it to... We'll put this in our inventory, just like our other unlockables. Okay, yes, we want basically this, right? Where we say, well, if Tome 1 is unlocked, go ahead and render it. And then only, once A is pressed and Tome 1 is selected, only if it's already unlocked do we do anything. So we have this set to a key item X offset. And then a key item Y offset. And we'll add about like 12-ish pixels and we'll see where that gets us. So we'll say just do 30. Okay, so we're looking for the tome in our inventory system here to be in the right spot. Wow, we almost nailed it. Yes, we need to scoot it down 1 pixel and then it's perfect. Okay, so it renders behind. It's rendering our cursor behind the tunic or behind the tome, so we need to change. We need to render the tome behind our cursor, so we'll do that right here. And then we'll decide if we want... I think I'm okay with that. Like it is too big. It doesn't fit. Like the cursor here doesn't fit snugly around the big tome, but I don't want to shrink the tome any. We might have to shrink the tome a little bit. It just looks so big. I think if we could shrink the tome by... Yeah, I think we gotta shrink it just a bit. So let's do this. Let's try to do... If we had it be this height instead and no border, 10 by 13, then we can also scoot this over just a tad. Something like that. So it's still readable and we can still get the image in there. And it breathes just a little bit. So let's try that. Just save it. No, we have to export it as. Save as a tome 1. Okay, better. It just needs to be right and down. Yo, Finn! Yo, thank you for the raid, homie. Yo, thank you, thank you. Yo, how was your stream? I gotta give you a shout out. Yo, love the brain slugs. Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome in. For those of you who don't know who I am or what I do, I'm building a top-down adventure game like Link's Awakening. It's a Game Boy style game. This is what I'm looking for. The Sharkies. Nice, man. Good work. So yeah, we're building out it's an action adventure music game in the style of like Link's Awakening. So we've got we built out the first puzzle. This is like after you come out of the dungeon, once you beat the dungeon, you come out this way, and then the sand biome is to the right there, and then here's where you unlock the first tome, is what I'm calling it. It is like it's like a tablet, like a 10 Commandments style tablet of some sheet music. So it says it's engraved with music from times of old, and it bears a message, and it's like it has a little riddle because you have to play the music in the right scene in order to cleanse the corrupted water. So the idea is we can select the tome, and then when we put on our lute, we can play this little mini game with some sheet music. It tells you which frets to play. Right now it's very simple. We have the melody, we just have to transcribe it. So I've got the melody, and I got like we have basically like recurring bass notes that go on a repeating kind of metronome, and then the bass notes play, and then you play the melody over the bass notes, like Guitar Hero. So that's gonna be Yo Whitechapel, thank you for the follow. So that's gonna be the goal for the end of the demo, because the idea is after the dungeon, you come out this way, you push these boulders out of the way, and this is like a shortcut from the entrance of the demo. So now the blocks are unblocked on your path here since you solved the little puzzle. This is the entrance to the dungeon, and that's where you get the green tunic that allows you to push things. And then the riddle is supposed to lead you to Mage's Castle right here. So the idea is if you play the song here on Mage's Castle and you've solved the riddle on the tablature, you play your music. If you get less than like 3 notes wrong or whatever, if we get hit that green, we got 2 correct. If you get, by the time we get the rest of the song in there, if you miss less than 3 notes, it'll trigger the water to be uncorrupted, right? It goes from purple to blue, and then that persists through the rest of the level, and cleansing the water there will unlock the bridge to the forest biome, which is the end of the demo. So we have other little stuff, which is like, this is like a little teaser. This is like a super dark room that you can fall in and get trapped by bats. So that's not supposed to be beatable until you get the other tunic, the light tunic of light, So the green one allows you to push boulders. The yellow one lights up dark dungeons. And then there's some other stuff too. The blue one will make you swim. And then we've got a little inn here that we made where we can go rest and get some... Oh, we need to add activity to the bed so that we get the collision detection back. Yo, yes, Finn. Yeah, all Lua. All Lua. And I hardly know what I'm doing. But the source code is all up there. If anyone wants to check it out, it's all up on GitHub. It is Love2d, the game engine, and just, yeah, it's just all Lua. You know, there's one Python script I use for writing like the tile numbers, but other than that, it's all Lua. So it is very, very much duct taped together, but it works. It somewhat works. So I need to get collision detection back on the beds. So we changed. Let's see. We had a bed, a collidable map object class that I think we need to just kind of default to be active. And I think if we do that, if they're just active by default, the bed was a collidable map object, and then we should have collision. Yo, thanks. Yeah, it is the Gorilla Tape version, I guess. But dude, no, earlier today I had the biggest bug I've ever seen in the game where, and I can recreate some of it because some of it is easily recreatable. Yo, sounds good, Finn. Thanks for the raid, man. I appreciate it. So let's see if we got collision back on the bed. Let's see. So let's see. There's a bed in here. Okay, we do have collision back. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so the idea is, you know, you can't walk in the bed that way, and the bed kind of slots you in perfect. And then if I go to, look, here's the nasty bug. If I cleanse the water here, and then I trigger the opening cinematic, which won't be possible for normal game players, it's just for in dev mode, I can do it. It triggers this nastiness, which is like half Mage's Castle sprites rendered over the cinematic sprites. So like it's half wrong, plus all of the green tunic rendering is off if I fall into a hole or something. So there's just like a bunch of little things. But this won't be possible for players to do once, because this is just, and then look, the water's frozen, and then if we come up here, oh, it didn't do it. But I had a gnarly bug that just like, I lost all control of the player, and then he glitched out, and then it crashed. So it was like a game break. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So something in dialog box. So like we collide with a dialog box at some point, and it takes us out. Wow. I don't know why that happens, but let's hope that. I think that's just being messed up because we trigger the opening cinematic manually instead of it being triggered off but through the end of the cinematic, which is a step that I was skipping there. So hopefully players don't have to do that. But yeah, let's test the inn real quick, because the inn is kind of cool. I just like the animation that he goes when he goes to sleep. Where is it? So we're trying to finish the demo and get it up on Steam. I was hoping the end of this month. We're not making it the end of this month because we've got one more day. But the tome equipping is the last thing we need for, as far as features go, for the demo. And then all that's left is the overworld polishing up. So it's like this, like all these fence posts are just like placeholders to kind of stop people from accidentally crashing the game if they go to a wrong scene. So I placed those so that people playing the web deployment wouldn't get stuck. But here, if you go into the inn and you have 5 coins, you can rest, and then he turns forward and closes his eyes and sleeps in the bed. And then you can wake up and he's got full health at this point. So there's spell casting, right? So we've got this blue fire spell for our red element that's down there equipped on the A button. And then we've got a refinery here where you take your ruby that you mine from the dungeon, and you can get upgrades for your spell cast. So This level 2 costs 25 rubies, so you can come in here and get that. And then once you have level 2 is 2 fire spells. And then if you can afford level 3, you can get 3 fire spells going. And that'll make, you know, if you're stuck in the first dungeon, you can farm some rubies and kind of upgrade your spell cast to help you out in the dungeon here. So we've got, oh gosh, we've got little bats that chase you. Then you get the green tunic that allows you to push boulders, and the boulders pushing has like two kind of aspects. One is you push it in order to move a pathway, and then you also push a crate in front of a bat hole to prevent the bats from spawning. I should probably call it like a cavern or something, but I call them bat holes. B-holes for short. So the idea is sometimes you want to break the crates and sometimes you don't, because a room like this, a bunch of bats come out of that B-hole down there, and you want to block them and then hurry up and block the rest of the bat holes before they swarm you. So the idea is you block all the bat holes, you block that one, you block this one, and then you can have like a safe getaway. So that's the end of this first dungeon, and that spits you out over here where the sand biome is, which gets pretty sandy this way. And then it fades as you go this way, and then we just added this today, getting that first tome. We do need the green tunic rendering on the show-off sprite, because our outfits are rendered, you know, in layers. So we have like a base layer of gray tunic, and then if you equip the spell cast in your hand, it should show, it should show whenever you have the spell cast element equipped, it should be in your hand. So there, it's in his hand only when you equip it here. Yeah, there we go. So he's holding the spell in his hand now. That's how it should be. Just on a knit, I guess it doesn't equip in his hand, so we need to fix that. But it renders in layers, so it's like our base coat layer, and then it renders our tunic layer, and then it renders our element layer, and then it renders our loot if we happen to have it equipped. So right there, so there it's got a loot and an element that he's holding. But then if he falls, the green tunic, see how the green tunic sprite gets decoupled from the falling animation, so we still need to add that. So we got like a lot of little stuff to fix, but overall we're coming up really close on finishing the demo. So I'm excited for it. It'll be up on Steam hopefully by the end of this next month, and then we'll have it, you know, shareable. There's also a web deployment if you guys want to play. It works on the phone, smartphone. It works on touch, and it also works on desktop. So if you want to give it a shot, that's about like a month old build, so it doesn't have a lot of this new stuff just yet, but we're prioritizing finishing the demo, and then we'll upload the demo to the web deployment so that people can play on the phone without having to download anything or download the game engine or source code or anything. They just go to the website and play. The bad thing is you can't save. You can't save your progress, so if you wanted to get level 2 upgrade for Flama, you can do it in one session, but it won't persist. So that's the only downside of playing online. So it'll be avoided if you play it, if you download the source code and play it, or when it's on Steam you download the actual official executable for the demo, then it should work. But yeah, we've got, you know, a lot of stuff to polish up. Like the log cabin is supposed to be stone, right? It's stone on the inside. It needs to be stone on the outside instead of the old log cabin. We have little meditation idols to refresh your element vibrancy. And then, yeah, we basically just have to design a couple more overworld sprites and then build out a couple more scenes, because we've got, you know, we have to build out maybe, these ones are looking okay, these like 9, but we need to re-export the minimap for some of this stuff, and then block the forest biome for the end of the demo and block the sand biome for the end of the demo as well. And then we're in a good spot to possibly ship the demo. So we're getting there. And we're working on right now, we're trying to get this, once we unlock the tome, or once we actually grab it, we need to move this in our, it should be a little to the right, a little down. And that's in our show off, which is what? Treasure chest. Okay, so a little right and a little down. So we'll see what this looks like. Yeah, that's pretty spot on. And we do need to change, you know, it's rendering the green tunic from the old frame of the walking animation. So we need to make a new tunic layer for the show off animation, which I just don't have just yet. But yeah, I don't think we're going to tackle that tonight. But we do want to try to equip, you know, we want some kind of feedback to show that the tome is equipped. We could make it 1 pixel wider too, just so it fits flush in the cursor here. So let's make it 1 pixel wider. We only have tome 1 to worry about for the demo, but it's, yeah, it should be just one wider here. Okay, that does look like it fits better. So I like that. We need to shift the show off X left one now that we extended the length of it. So that should be right. Okay, sweet. Okay, that looks like it fits. So I just want some kind of feedback to show that the tome is actually equipped, because if you don't equip a tome, then your loot is in like free play mode. But if you do equip a loot or a tome, then the sheet music will scroll and you'll be in the mini game to count how many you've got correct or wrong or whatever. So we need some kind of feedback to show when it's equipped, and maybe we can put it, we can either have like a little outline around the tome itself, or put it in the corner up here or over here. You know, maybe we put it in the bottom right corner up here if it's equipped, and then if it's not equipped, we take it off as a sort of signifying that that's what's active on the loot, because music is a big part of this game. So I think it would work better than a little outline here where it is in the inventory. I think we want to kind of place it so we can see it. So let's do this thing where in our inventory system, we only want to render the tome if it's unlocked, right? So we have this, we want to say that there's a tome 1 unlocked boolean, and we only want to render this if tome 1 is unlocked. So we can add, you know, when we collide with the treasure chest that's holding this tome, we need to basically become tome 1 unlocked so that we then render this in our inventory system. So we don't really have a way to check. I guess we have, I don't know how we do this, because in our dialogue system, well, we initialize a dialogue box in 1018, right? So it's almost like we have to have some kind of trigger for the treasure chest object that's in this specific scene, that once we click on this specific one, this specific, actually it's right there, tome 1, yeah. So it's like we can say if in the update for treasure chest, we can say, you know, if the, we aren't even updating our treasure chests. There's nothing to update, so I don't think we are updating. But basically we want to say that if we interact, you know, if we, I guess by the time we run open chest, you know, we'd have to set the tome 1 unlock to become true, but only on the treasure chest that is in the scene that is right here, which is like what, 7.5? 7.5. So only on the treasure chest in 7.5, when we interact with that one, do we want to turn tome 1 unlocked in our inventory class to become true. So how do we do that? Because over here, oh, and you know what? We just do it like we do for our player. So instead of tome 1 unlocked being in the inventory class, we'll put it as a field on the player, and then at least we can just, that doesn't solve our problem for triggering it, but at least that will get us to being consistent with the other unlocks. So we can say any unlocked, you know, we want to say that this is a tome 1 unlocked. And it starts off as not unlocked, but whenever we do the open chest, right? Whenever we run that method, which we do in the play state, we do it twice. We do it for a type treasure chest. Yeah, why do we do it twice? Oh, this is for touches. This shouldn't be here. We should remove this because this is old. We shouldn't need this. Let's just delete it. We don't need it. We don't need it. I've got that bad habit of like not deleting things because I think they'll solve problems for me in the future. But I need to get over that and just delete stuff. Yeah, it really should be all this. Okay, sweet. Okay, so tome 1 is not unlocked, so it doesn't show up here. So we need to figure out how to trigger it, because when we interact and open chest, we need to basically just check. It's like, hey, by the time we're opening chest, you know, is the contents of the chest a tome 1? And if so, then we'd go ahead and just trigger tome 1 unlock to become true because we opened the chest that had the contents of tome 1. So we should be able to just go in the open chest method on our treasure chest and just add it there. You know, we can say we do have a contents. So at this point, we can say, well, if the contents are the tome 1, at this point when we open it, then we would want to go to our global player and say tome 1 unlocked becomes true. Now, let's see if it turns on the rendering in our inventory for that. So, tome 1 unlocked, and then do we have tome 1 unlocked for both the render? That's in our inventory system. So tome 1 unlocked, we do, in our render. This is in, our render function for our inventory. We say, well, if our player's tome 1's unlocked, then let's go ahead and render tome at the specific location. So let's see. We don't have tome in our inventory now, but if we open this treasure chest, then we have it now in our system. So it's still not selectable, but at least it is being triggered, and we could, I just want to test and make sure it doesn't open if the contents are a loot. So, you know, we have another treasure chest we can test this on and make sure it doesn't trigger for any treasure chest open, but only that specific treasure chest. We got, I probably should have just spawned us at Mage's Castle, but might as well walk around and get there. So let's see. So our inventory has no tome unlocked, and we're going to open up our loot, and it says you got your loot, and tome 1 is still unlocked, or locked. So that's good. So it only appears when we open that specific treasure chest. So that's working. But now we need to make it selectable and unequipable, because you want to be able to toggle between the free state and the play state. So we have this where it's like, and what I need to do is I'm setting Flamma equipped upon the init just to make it so that I can cast spells without needing to equip it every time, but it's not equipped in our hand on the player. So I need to find what boolean that is and make sure we do that when we give us the green tunic and Flamma equipped. But see how we can select the green tunic and it toggles it equipped or not. So let's try to find the red Flamma equipped. What is it? It is element equipped Flamma, but that's not the render for the player. That's the render for the A button slot. I'm pretty sure we need to find how we're rendering. Is it right there? Flamma 2. Yeah, Flamma 2 is not the element in our hand. Where is the element in our hand? Because that's like a really small thing. I guess that's in the pause state. In the pause state, we should have like a Flamma dot. It's really just like a Flamma color. We don't have it. Player render, tunic equipped, right here, element equipped. Yeah, we should set this. Okay, so we render this character element 1. If element equipped is Flamma in the play state. Okay. That doesn't explain how it renders in the overworld and the play state. Element equipped. I think this is it. If we turn this off, let's see if we just don't render it in our hand anymore. Okay, yeah. So it does look to be like that line there. But it's just with element equipped, which we're doing at the beginning. So I don't get why it doesn't show up in the play state. Because, yeah, we set element equipped right there in the init. So when we're doing our... I guess, does it appear in the inventory? So it's equipped because we can do this, but it's not in our hand. When we pull open the inventory, it also doesn't render until we toggle it off and then back on. So why doesn't it render until we like toggle it on and off? Not a big deal because the demo won't have this. This is just like a quality of life thing for me to be able to just equip it from the get-go. So maybe we just don't worry about that at this moment. Let's see if we can find the element equipped in our play state and see if there's anything else we're missing. Play state, element equipped. We set it and then we render the vibrancy, but yeah, we aren't rendering. Oh, here, element render. Element render, that's it. Yeah, so, well, no, we're doing it. We're doing it. We know we're doing it because we can see it in the play state once we walk around after we equip it. So once we equip it like that, it's in our hand. So that is working. So there's just something in the play state that we're not triggering correctly. We're missing something that we trigger once we actually select Llama. So in the inventory, it's got to be in the inventory class here. So in our update, when we select Flama, what is happening? Action is pressed. Dude, all that's happening is element equipped. Flama unlocked. Okay, maybe it has to do with that too. Let's element equipped, Flama unlocked. It might have to do with Flama unlocked. No, it's still not in there. Yeah, only when we toggle it on and off it comes back. I'm not too worried about it. Just more of a consistency thing as I play here, but I'm not too worried about that. We should figure it out, but I think I've wasted enough time trying to fix that tonight that I'm kind of done with it. We do want to see, we've got, if we get the Tome 1, it appears in our inventory system, but we need to toggle it like we do the other stuff, which is how we got into this mess. So now when we hit action button and we're selected on this tome, we need to define if it's equipped or not. And if it's equipped, we render it. If it's not equipped, we don't. And toggle the equipped status every action button press while that tome 1 is selected and it's unlocked. Because if we select it and hit action, it needs to do nothing if it's not unlocked, because you can't equip it until you've got it. So that's all we need to do. So let's go to our inventory state. Now we need a Tome 1 equipped boolean in our inventory class. So I guess it would be, it's a key item because it's on the right side of the screen here. And I guess we just have a Tome 1 equipped. Gets false as the init, and then once we do the action button check for the rest of the options here, Yes, so this is the element row, tunic row. So selected row 3 will be our tome row. So tunic row is here if selected row 2. So right here we need else if selected row is 3. Is it right there? Yeah. Else if selected row 3, which is our tome row. Then it's not just selected row. We need selected call 1 within selected row. Yeah, so selected call within selected row would mean that we are actually hitting enter on the tome 1 slot. So at this point, we need to just ternary swap the tome 1 equipped status. So we can say tome 1 equipped in our inventory class. We can say, actually, yeah, the rest of these have it as tunic equipped on the player, so we would do this. It's a little different than that, though, because it's like we have the tome unlocked, which shows it rendering in the inventory, but we then have tome 1 equipped, which will show it actually on the HUD in the top right. So I guess, yeah, would we put this on the player or put this in the inventory? I mean, I guess it makes sense in the inventory, right? So if action is pressed, then we need to check if our player has tome 1 unlocked or not, because we don't want to do anything if it's not unlocked. So if it is unlocked, then we would want to go and check our tome equipped and swap it, so it would just get assigned the opposite of whatever the tome 1 equipped is. And then we can say, well, then when we render our thing here, we can say also if our inventory's tome 1 is equipped, then we want to go ahead and render tome 1 again, just at the HUD at the top right location. So we'll say, let's draw the tome 1, but this time we'll put it at player, what do we have? Player X, player inventory, player X. Let's just start here and see. This would put it like right over the player's face, but this is just to test if it's actually being equipped or not. So let's get it from the treasure chest. Oh my goodness. Let's get it from the treasure chest. We'll open our inventory and try equipping it. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it equips behind our player at least. And so we just need to place it. And then we have a global inventory value that we can check by the time we load our loot state. Say, hey, is tome 1 equipped? If so, load the sheet music. If it's not, don't load the sheet music minigame. So let's put this probably after we render our player, so it renders on top of the HUD and stuff. Let's just make sure that works. At still rendering behind our player. Our player, I guess it doesn't really matter because we're going to scoot it anyway. So let's just scoot it. You know, we want the X to basically be the virtual width minus the width of our tome. So our tome is, what, 12 wide? 11 wide. So we'll go virtual width -11. That should get us flush to the left side. And then our HUD is what? Maybe tile size ×2? Let's see where that places it. So we'll get tome 1. We'll equip it. Oh, that's like exactly it. Yeah, that's exactly it. But yeah, I do want it to be over 1 pixel because we have like a little border there. So like when you have the tome equipped, I don't know if I like that placement though. Yeah, I don't know if I like that placement. Maybe the top right. I don't know. Yeah, top right feels better to me, but still looks weird. I feel like bottom left would look way weirder. Let's try the top left and see. Let's see if the top left looks any better. Okay. I don't know, it just feels in the way. It just feels like it's in the way. Wonder if we don't put it flush with the corners, but kind of... Let's try the bottom. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Okay, just looks so in the way. I'm gonna try not putting it flush to the corner and see how it looks. Dude, the arithmetic there looks so bad. Okay, that's feeling better. That's feeling better. Oh. Okay, we will unlock our tome. We will equip it. Okay, that looks better to me. I like it. I like that it's there. Okay, that's finally feeling good to me. So I don't think I have the courage to look at the loot state tonight and try to get the toggling working for the sheet music based on whether or not this is equipped at time of loading the loot state. But that is what we're going to do tomorrow. So I think today, I think we'll wrap it for today. But at least we've got the Tome 1 in-game. We've got the treasure chest for it to load into, as well as the unlockable in the inventory system, which is all we set out to do today anyway. So let's just check out our get diff here and see what we did. You know, we fixed a couple of hidden bugs for the active hitboxes on the collidable map objects. We also added the selection for the tome to be equipped upon selection. And then we also have it being equipped, which renders it in the inventory state, as well as reset treasure chest. Oh yeah, we stopped resetting our treasure chest so that it remains open once you've got the contents, and then also fix the treasure chest bug with the active status being set. Then we added our Tome 1 drawable. We got rid of our touches line of code there, so that all looks right. We'll say that we add Tome 1 to shortcut scene and inventory class. Tome 1 equip in inventory class. Sweet. All right. Well, hey, thanks for watching, y'all. Thanks for the raid, Finn. I appreciate it. We'll run credits and we will find someone to pass along the raid train to. So thanks for all the supporters. Yo, our homie Salto Manga is streaming right now, and he did the artwork for Tashio, which you're looking at in the background. He did this custom art for me for the game, which is going to be on the Steam page when the demo releases. So we're going to give our homie Salto a raid and call it a night. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow with another stream. Peace out.